Life's a gamble, I roll dice. Bet against me, I roll twice. I done beat the odds my whole life. I said I'm ready for greatness.
Shit, Dave.
Welcome back to the Autonomous Podcast. I am your host, Damian Jackson. Me and the AI. Let's get into this shit. So today we're going to talk about dismantling systems. Because old systems, right? Let me make sure I say that. Old systems. A lot of systems that we have in place in our societies, civilization as a whole, this species, this fucking planet, we're all stuck on together with, I mind you, right? We're all stuck together. These systems that we have in place, they, for the most part, obviously benefit select people. And we can go talk about, ancient, occultic knowledge, technologies, things like that, where a lot of these systems come from. Marriage, right? We can talk about marriage, how some people think it's more of a religious thing. It's not. Social contracts, right? I give you my son, you give me your daughter, we make an agreement, and we're exchanging properties. Human properties, also land and other things and shit like that. But a lot of these systems that are in place, they are not designed for you, me, the everyday individual person. The reality is, why would they be? People are always like, oh, the system doesn't work for us. The judicial system is biased, it's racist. Of course it is. Why would it not be? You didn't create the shit. The people that created did not have you in mind. They did not give a fuck about you to begin with to create the shit. So why would it benefit you? Right? That's why we have to dismantle these old systems. I know people love politics. I've been there. Left, right, Democrat, Republican, independent, third party, in the middle, doesn't fucking matter. I done voted all over the fucking place. I done supported every fucking body. Not everybody, but you get what I'm saying. At the end of the day, the system is what the system is. And we think that we can change it. There's been times where I felt like that as well. And I remember having a conversation with one of my close friends years ago, and he is doing something, trying to, change the system from within. And my mindset has always been, fuck that, you got to change it from the outside. But also being in the military, being active duty for 12 years in the Air Force, my mindset too was, okay, maybe I shifted a little bit where I'm like, maybe I can change things from within, We need good NCOs like you, Sergeant Jackson, ones that are going to care about the troops and shit like that and whatnot. But they don't like it when you're authentic and you have integrity. Because as you try to climb the ranks of these systems, it's hard to keep your soul, right? I'm just gonna call it the way it is. It's hard to keep your soul. It's hard to stay true to yourself. There were times when I was in the Air Force in which I would make decisions that I know that could affect someone's personal life. And we always say, hey, the military comes first. This is how the government is. This is how we got to do things, stuff like that. But at the same time, we could tell that how it's hard to go to sleep at night. We make choices like that. And anytime I came to that internal conflict within myself, I will always make the choice in which benefited that individual person. Because fuck the Air Force, fuck the government, fuck all that shit. What about us as human beings, right? What about us as, a collective consciousness, one species, shit like that we're all connected and stuff, right? Regardless of your religious perspective and doctrine and all other shit, we all can agree on that, we are all together in this shit, right? We're all together. You can be fucking atheists. We still here, right? Right? Your non-believing ass and nothing. You're still here with us, right? So we're all trying to figure this shit out together. And it seems like we have allowed the very, very few, the minority of our societies to control everything, right? We call it the 1%. We call it the elites. I hate that word. I hate that word because they're not elite. They're not elite. They just are aware of the systems and they know how to play by the rules of the systems and use the systems to benefit themselves. They don't want to change it. No matter which fucking president you vote for, they don't want to change the system. They're just going to maneuver the systems or bend it or, adjust it slightly for their benefit, first and foremost, their friends and family's benefit, and then anyone else that kind of aligns with them within their sphere of people that they interact with. Bush, Obama, Biden, Trump, doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. That's why they all related, right? And that girl a couple years, maybe like a decade ago, they, put it out there and shit that, hey, all the presidents are related and shit like that. All coming from King so-and-so out of England and whatnot. Now you can go through colonial times, you can go to the Mali Empire, you can go through all these different things. It's all the same systems. Transatlantic slave, right? The Arabic slave trade in the Mali Empire and shit like that. the Crusades, you can go throughout history and these systems are still there. So at what point in time do we break the cycle? Because we keep having the same systems over and over and over and over. And we're all like, damn, man, we got to do something different. But when there's time to do something different, motherfuckers don't want to do nothing different. Because when you're continuously doing the same thing, at some point in time, you come across a point in which you're like, hey, I recognize these expectations. I can predict how my day-to-day life is going to be. I can predict some of the things around the world, how it's going to be. I'm used to this. And we get, in a sense, comfortable, right? Because we all know it's easy to conform. It's hard to be yourself. That's why motherfuckers don't want to be themselves. That's why they adopt a personality where it's tied to their religion, race, sex, sexual orientation, all that shit. And I get it, right? Because I'm just like y'all, right? We're all doing the same thing. We're all thinking the same thing and stuff. But this is just yet another system in place. Yeah, we call it the Matrix, and we're like, oh yeah, it's this and that. How you break out of it? Don't participate in it. That's it. These games, you cannot win. You will not win. And even if you do win, it's not you winning. It's not your true self winning, because you have to give up part of who you are in order to win. To some extent, right? Obviously, there's always exceptions. Think about this. We all know when it comes to Hollywood, celebrities and shit like that, when it's time to make the billions, right? We all say, hey, they sold their soul, they're doing a little demonic shit or whatever, they're doing some shit that they wouldn't do and stuff. It's more or less about an initiation in the sense of, we know you want this, but what are you willing to do for it? That's how a lot of our systems operate. That's how a lot of y'all personal relationships operate. A give and take. So if we're trying to, say, amass generational wealth, how do we go about doing it? Do we utilize their system, right? Capitalism, people don't like it, but you're going to benefit from it when you think about it. But how do you benefit from it and yet keep your soul, your integrity? Those are the things that I've been trying to figure out myself, because I never wanted a bunch of money, but now I'm like, fuck it. I wanted this money. I want this shit. But how do I keep my soul intact, my integrity? How do I not give up of who I am? Do I manipulate the system to my benefit? Do I realize that the systems I'm using, at some point, I will indirectly be involved with someone, getting less than or being abused? You wear fucking Nikes. Who you think making them motherfuckers? We knew that shit back in the 90s, right? You could probably connect the shit that, hell, the Vietnam War, they say, no, we got Nikes. Or Reeboks. Or Adidas, or wherever else is going on over there. Sweatshops. People don't like slavery, but they ignore that shit. We ignore human trafficking. All these systems that are in place, we know at its core, we benefit from it. And I think that's the reality in which we have to realize. As we dismantle these old systems, if we choose to, we have to choose to look at ourselves. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's a fucking angel. We all have some of that negative side to us, that dark side to us. But we want to get rid of these old systems. We're going to have to recognize that about ourselves. Because if we want to bring in the new systems, the biggest thing we have to realize that we're all here. The best systems that we can create will be the systems in which we're all involved in. It will be the systems in which we all recognize that we're one, right? One fucking species stuck on one fucking planet, flat, round, floating in space, not floating in space, in fucking water, doesn't fucking matter. We're all here. And we're all here. What are we going to do with that shit? Why can't everybody have wealth? The funny thing is, not everybody wants wealth. Some of us do, some of us don't. Some of us wants to take turns with it, right? You want money when you ain't have money your whole fucking life. But you spend most of your life with money, you wouldn't give a fuck about money. You see what I'm saying? At some point, you want to experience the other perspective. And you should, because life is a journey. You got a lot of years, not a lot of y'all, because a lot of y'all ain't fucking healthy and ain't going to live that long. That's just reality of it. But, you know, for the most part, you know, you got 50 years, right? 50 years tops. 50 years tops. The fuck you going to do with your life in 50 fucking years? You want to spend all of it spending a bunch of money, materialistic things? It will get boring, would it not? So when we talk about wealth and making this money and shit like that, we're really just talking about experiencing different things on this planet before we fucking leave. Plain and simple. Where you believe heaven or heaven, hell, you know, where you believe in reincarnation, coming back to the earth, wherever the fuck you believe, doesn't fucking matter. How are you going to experience this reality in which you're in now? The infinite now, right? Throughout the infinite possibilities, the infinite timelines, the infinite fucking dimensions, whatever. How are you going to experience this? So if money doesn't exist because we're making shit up, especially now, ones and zeros, as I'm sitting here recording this podcast, right? The shit that I invest in is going up ones and zeros. I'm making $100 and losing $100 all at the same time. It's not fucking real. It doesn't matter, right? But these systems we have in place, we believe it with everything we have, and that's why they're there. But we choose to believe in a whole different system. That's all it takes. And we all know this. But instead, most of us just want to fucking complain. And we think, oh, well, if you don't want to complain, we got to protest. We got to vote someone else in. We got to change this. We got to take the money out of the banks and move the money over here and stuff. We got to have money not backed by, you know, ones and zeros or nothing, or printing endless paper and stuff. We need to have backed by precious metals and gold and all this other stuff. Or we can just create something new. Or we can just say, you know what? Apparently, we all just do whatever we do because we choose to. You got your ass up and went to work today. I got my ass up and went to work for years. Why? Because I chose to. Oh, because this is how the way the world is. No, it's not. No, it's not. Nobody told you got to go to work. You be like, oh, well, I want to live on the street. Some homeless people choose to live on the street. That's why I shouldn't even call them homeless. When it's like that, you're a nomad, right? It's a lifestyle. So many systems are in place in which we can dismantle and easily create new ones. The biggest thing why we do not create new systems, fear. Fear of the unknown. Fear of, damn, how will life be if I don't have it like this? Fear is the reason you're stuck in that fucking marriage and you're like, oh, I want to divorce this motherfucker for so long. No, you didn't. You're fucking afraid, right? Fear is the reason why you won't change your job because you know you're comfortable. God forbid you try something new and different. God forbid you take a fucking leap of faith and believe in your fucking self. Fear. Fear is what drives us so much. Fear is the reason why you're alive, right? You ain't about to go out and do no dumb shit because you're afraid of fucking pain and you're afraid of fucking that pain being so much that you die. So fear makes sense when we're trying to stay alive in this physical reality. But the other fear also limits us so we can experience something new, something different, something beautiful. In order to dismantle all these old systems, we have to look within ourselves. Every single one of us. has to question why we eat this food. Why are we gaining this weight? Why do we go to this job? Why does this shit exist? Why are we paying $100 for a shirt when the $20 shirt is the same thing? In fact, why are we paying for clothing when all of a sudden, shouldn't it be a fucking essential thing? Why do we pay for food when the goal is for all of us to be alive X amount of years anyway? So why take the main source of you fucking being alive on this planet and put a price on it? When they figure out how to charge us air to breathe, it's over with. It's over with. And a lot of you motherfuckers will let it happen. At that point in time, hey, click, clack. And it might be a different mentality. I might not be all, hey, love each other and let's just figure this shit out. They start trying to charge us air to breathe. Yeah, I might become a fucking different animal. Fuck that shit. Because at that point, something's got to happen, right? I want to make my weapon of choice my consciousness. But if shit get different, well, I'm going to get different. And do people have that in them? Do they have that fire in them? Are they pissed off enough to be like, I'm tired of these systems that we have in place? They're old, they're outdated, they're fucking useless, they don't benefit us all. So at what point in time are you going to say, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do something new. Let's do something different. You know what? Fuck it. I will. I'm bold enough. I believe in myself enough. I got enough fucking cockiness, maybe a narcissistic trait, right? Maybe. I don't give a fuck. I have enough of it in me to be like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll create new systems. I have. I put it out there on Reddit. I'm creating new systems. I'm creating a new society. I'm creating a new fucking civilization. I'm bold enough to say that shit. You can call me crazy. Actually, I prefer motherfucker call me crazy, right? Won't call me a motherfucking liar, though. Won't say I ain't got no confidence. Won't say I'm fucking weak-minded. Won't say I'm like the rest of y'all. It takes someone. No, it takes all of us with fire, drive, confidence, self-belief, initiative to be the change that we want to see in the world. Or y'all just don't give a fuck, whatever. It is what it is. I'm out.
Life's a gamble, I roll dice. Bet against me, I roll twice. I done beat the odds my whole life. I said I'm ready for
Talking
greatness.
shit, dang.